Okay, let's imagine a classroom. But this isn't for some ordinary lesson, no. This is more like a reckoning. The poet W.H. Auden has pulled together some of the greatest minds in history to tackle this one question that absolutely haunted their time. And you know what? It still haunts ours. So, picture this. It's 1941, Ann Arbor, Michigan. The world is just tearing itself apart. War is everywhere. But inside this one university classroom, the air is thick with this different kind of tension. It's that feeling, That feeling when history stops being something you just read about in books and starts, well, knocking at your door. And in this room, Auden has somehow managed to bring together these absolute giants. We're talking Sophocles, Dostoevsky, Kafka, all of them. He's created this incredible roundtable, really, to force a conversation that is just so urgent about fate and freedom. A conversation for his students, and yeah, definitely for us too. And this is the central question right on the board. What is an individual when the world insists on being a system? I mean, think about that. When the machinery of the state, of ideology, of war becomes so massive and overwhelming, what is one person? What does it even mean to be free in a world like that? All right, so Auden kicks things off, and he starts with the most immediate pressure point, that just crushing weight of history itself. So he puts it right to his panel and really to us. In a world that's just full of slogans and fear, a world where everyone is saying we have no choice, what does a truly free act even look like? I mean, how would you even spot one? First up is Sophocles, the ancient Greek tragedian. And for him, it's pretty clear. Freedom isn't about having a bunch of easy, happy options. No, it's about making a choice even when you know it could lead to your own ruin. So fate, well, fate isn't just the stuff that happens to you. Fate is who you become when you respond to it. It's about the character you show under pressure. Then you've got Dostoevsky, and he just sharpens the blade on this. He argues that a free act, it's most obvious when all logic, everything rational, is screaming at you to just give in. It's not a calculation. It's a spiritual act of defiance. It's the soul, deep down, just refusing to become a beast, even when the whole world is practically begging it to. And then, of course, there's Kafka, the master of the bureaucratic nightmare. And he chimes in with a much bleaker view. He basically says, look, maybe you can't change the outcome. Maybe freedom isn't about winning at all. Maybe, just maybe, it's about that one profound internal act, refusing to become a willing cog in the machine. That's it. That's the whole battle. So this really gets at the core tension, doesn't it? On one hand, you have Sophocles' worlds. Tragedy there is, well, it's clear. The judge has a face. You know who you're up against. But then you look at Kafka's world. It's a faceless office. The catastrophe is a system. You don't even know what you're being accused of, because the system has basically just confiscated meaning itself. And thinking about that leads Auden to his next big question. Okay, so Auden shifts gears a bit here. We've talked about the external world. Now he wants to turn inward, to the real internal battlefield, our conscience. And look, this is not some abstract philosophical question. Auden wants a practical test. He's asking, for a real person facing an impossible order from authority, what's the red flag? What's that little warning bell inside that tells you, hey, you are about to cross a very serious moral line? And the answers they give, wow, it's like a moral checklist. For Sophocles, the warning sign is when power starts acting like it can't possibly be wrong. For the theologian Augustine, it's that moment you're forced to lie, to call something evil good. Kierkegaard says to watch out for when obedience becomes an easy way out, a way to avoid the tough, lonely job of making a real moral choice. And then Shakespeare, he sees the danger when it all becomes a performance, right? When people stop talking like real humans and just start repeating slogans. And this brings up such a crucial point, the difference between a martyr and a fanatic. They can look similar on the outside, but they're worlds apart. A martyr accepts suffering. A fanatic distributes it. A martyr fears God or a higher principle. A fanatic, they're terrified of shame, of losing face. And that's the whole ballgame, isn't it? It's the difference between acting out of a humble conscience versus acting out of a really dangerous, unshakable pride. So all of this is building to the real climax of the discussion. We've reached the point where we have to ask, if you really can't stop the world from going dark, what is your actual duty? What are you supposed to do? And this is the ultimate practical question, right? This is the so what? We're moving beyond just analyzing the problem. Auden is demanding an answer.
When you feel totally powerless, what is the single most important moral task left on the table? And the answers they give are just profound. Dostoevsky says, the highest task is just to remain human, to hold on to your pity, especially when the world is rewarding inhumanity. For Kafka, it's that same core idea. Just refuse. Refuse to be a willing cog. The poet T.S. Eliot offers a quieter path. Find reverence again, and tell the truth but without all the drama and spectacle. And finally, the historian Henry Adams gives a more intellectual task. Understand the forces that are actually shaping your world, so you don't get tricked into thinking you're free when you're not. And with all that, Auden brings it all home. He lands the plane with a final, really piercing set of takeaways about where our character, our fate, is truly forged. So here's the big reveal, the ultimate redefinition of fate. It's not some script that's handed to you from the heavens. No way. Fate is something you are actively creating, right now, through your choices, through your character. It's the shape your soul takes when it gets put under pressure. So don't wait around for some big, heroic moment to prove your integrity. That's not how it works. Your fate, your character, it's being written right now, in the thousands of small choices and quiet moments that make up your ordinary day. And Auden's final warning is, it's stark. He says the century will not grant you innocence. In a world this complicated, this brutal, you just can't stand on the sidelines and pretend you're not involved. The pressures of the age, they will find you. But then comes the turn. Okay, so maybe you don't get to be innocent, but Auden says you might be granted something even better, something more valuable, more real. You get the chance to be honest.
And in the end, for Auden, that's it. That's the foundation of real freedom. It's not about avoiding the world's ugliness. It's about facing it head on with clear-out honesty. And that is the only way to be truly free. And so, the whole thing ends with Auden's question turned right back on us, on you. So forget the grand stage of history for just a minute. Look at your own life, your job, your family, your ordinary hours. In all those quiet moments and small choices of your day, what story is your life writing? What fate are you building for yourself right now?